It's
Hi.
time for the JAYMEE show! Hi.
Hi.
I think I've started.
I've done that in ages.
Well, it says
Too
stop
long.
streaming, so hopefully it starts soon. And there we go. Come on, YouTube. YouTube is so delayed, and it causes me such a problem. I find it super frustrating. Why must you delay me? Don't delay me, bro. You know what else I need to do? What you gonna do, man? I'll tell you, man. We're going to... So tell me about your day, Jay.
My day? Yeah, I've just been doing housework. Took some crap that I didn't need down the charity shop. Friend of mine came over. He wanted to borrow my DSLR for the weekend. So he's running off and doing things with my camera. I'm sure he'll have fun. And yeah, I'm just, like I said, putting shit in the bin and putting stuff away and just, you know, spring cleaning, man.
Yeah. Just before we got on, I was actually gonna bug you about something. Not really bug you, but we were having a conversation, and I was gonna talk to you. I was going to talk to you about how people get so weird about people who like certain kinds of music. You know, it's kind of weird because there's just something in your brain that makes you like a certain combination of sounds and frequencies, and everybody else's brain is like that too. But we make everything so tribal.
Yeah.
Why? You don't fucking like AC/DC? Fuck you, bro. You don't have no taste. You're a fucking idiot.
No, it's true.
Hi, Thomas. Good morning. Hi, Snaggletooth, whoever that is. I bet you that's... I don't know who that is, but I always have a guess when I see weird fucking names in my chat who that is. You know?
Somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi! Hi, Pavel.
Stream and just random people roll up, like, who are you? Especially when they start being all like, What
are you gonna moan at me about exactly?
What, me?
No, not you, but in general. Like, what are you gonna come into a live stream chat and moan about?
Yeah, exactly. Normally it's like they fucking vehemently disagree because you've said something and they don't like it. You know, like, oh, so-and-so done this, and they're like, you're a traitor, rah!
Yeah.
Like, what? Or you say, for example, a terrorist girl who was born in Britain is Britain's problem to deal with. And people are like, fuck you, traitor, man. No, we ain't paying for that. Rah.
Yo, that was a crazy story. Can we talk about why this girl has not, like, is not flown back and tried for treason? Like, that's the first thing that I thought, but this can't even be classified as treason, really, can it? Or it isn't.
No, I don't.
It isn't.
I don't believe it can be classified as treason. And the other thing is like, what has she done? What crimes has she committed? So we need to work that one out.
But isn't just leaving the country to join a organization that is antithetical to your country in some way or another, isn't that not treasonous?
Well, from what I understand at the moment, no, it's not. Not under our laws of treason.
Okay, what are your laws of treason? If you can humor me a little bit. I'm wholly ignorant.
I'm not 100% on. I know we have something called high treason, but that only applies when I think you tried to kill the queen.
Okay, so Snaggletooth is saying that she gave up her rights to British she gave up her rights to British citizenship when she left to join them, but that's not true, is it?
No, that's not true. No.
I mean, I understand that's how people feel, but
yeah, that's how people feel, but that's not the case. And okay, so I am going to sound a little bit SJW here. Well, far left, crazy left, I don't know. But I do feel that it is a bit that we have to take into consideration, and that is she was groomed and maybe coerced, I don't know, but she was radicalized on the internet. She went to Bethnal Green School where the Secret Service had already investigated because schoolgirls had already left to go to join ISIS. And I believe they actually spoke to that girl and the other two that were involved, and they didn't think that she was going to do a runner, but obviously she did in the end.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that, you know, the biggest victims in Islam is always, you know, Muslim women.
Yeah. Guess what? Your boyfriend might be joining us in 5 minutes.
Which boyfriend?
David.
Whoa!
Yeah! It's been a while. He can catch us up about what happened yesterday night because he talked to those fools, didn't he?
I love David.
I do too.
I miss him so much.
Does Jay not agree she gave up her citizenship? I mean, I understand that we feel like that because she betrayed her country, but I don't think technically and legally that's what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
New link, David. So there's a new link every time, just so everybody's aware. That is how I've set it up. So I don't understand why people are so up on their feelings about this. I get we feel like she should have her citizenship revoked. I think every reasonable person feels
Actually,
like that, no?
I don't.
No?
I'm highly against that. Yeah, revoking... See, the thing is, she's a birthright citizen. Well, we don't technically have birthright citizen, but I'm not going into that. I feel that if you are born in this country, you are a British-born citizen. End of story. I don't care what colour skin you are, what religion, whatever. Right? You are a British-born. Right?
Well, now, you can't kick someone out, right? If they were born there, where are you going to send them?
Well, yeah. I mean, the British government are trying to pawn it off, like trying to say that she could have Bangladeshi citizenship, but she doesn't. Now, it is against international law to make individuals state. So there's that.
Yeah.
I think that the government have done this just as a ploy to be like, see, we've done something, public outcry, we did something. And then in 4 months' time, when it's all quieting down, she'll go to court, she'll win, get her citizenship back, and then the government can be like, well, we tried, nothing more we can do.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yes, we need to have laws changed, or maybe bring some new laws in that can deal with these new situations of dealing with people going and joining our enemy. And
right.
The other thing is what...
Don't you think they're going to need new laws for this? Because this is going to happen more often as we move into the future.
I don't want it to happen more often, but yeah, there is that possibility that it is going to happen. And the other thing is I look at it more as I don't want any government having the right to take away your citizenship. You're a British-born citizen, regardless of what it is you've done, right? Because it gives them the power of like, where would they do it to next? Who are they going to do it to next? Like, what happens if, because they consider Tommy Robinson an extremist, so what's to stop them turning around and going, oh, well, he's got heritage to some Eastern European country, or say Israel, something dumb like that, and so they could revoke his citizenship. Now, I'm not saying they would, or I don't even think they would do that, but I just think it's a really bad precedent. The other reason I don't like it is due to the fact that she's a British-born citizen, so she's our fucking problem.
Yeah.
And I feel that, you know, we should deal with our own, when it's something like this and there are our people, 100% we should deal with it and try them to the full extent of the law.
I mean, even Kelly Noodle just said, just send her to prison, which, I mean, I totally agree.
Okay, but how much of... See, my figures is...
like, obviously there has to be a trial process, right? I'm not saying just bring her in and throw her in jail.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't know, JAYMEE Turner.
She was 50 when she went out there. I mean, she was definitely groomed to going there. She was definitely talked into it and radicalized on the internet. So, I mean, like her showing no remorse and things like that, yeah, we can judge her on that today, because that's happened recently, but when it actually comes to the act of going there, I feel that we do have to remember she was 15. She's still a child.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying like we give her sympathy like she wants, but I do think that
no sympathy for sure,
but there needs to be some, you know, understanding. Not so much, understanding, I suppose, in a way.
Kelly's saying, Jay, please don't defend this little jihadi whore.
Well, she's in my book, she's a victim of Islam. I'm sorry, but I'm a big believer that women and children are victims of Islam.
But at the same time, we have to be reasonable about how we manage these situations, even though I understand she is kind of a victim. But this is a brainwashing problem. You're not going to change this person. She thinks she's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
That is the worst thing about this. So that's going to have to be taken into consideration when we're making decisions about letting these people back and how we want to deal with them. Because if they go to jail, their attitude is more likely than not going to be, look at me, I went to jail for a cause. This is for my religion. I'm going to be rewarded greatly or whatever. I'm doing Allah's work or whatever, you know? So, I don't know. Yeah. I don't think she's a victim. Oh.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I'm pretty sure she's going to end up getting her citizenship back. And that will basically be it, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't see how the British government can defend what they've done in a court of law.
Mm. Her dad is very much responsible. He's a horrific bigot. Hi, Ricky.
That is for sure.
David, the waiting room is at the very bottom.
She was, that's the other thing, it is, let's not forget that, Amy.
Yes, dear.
Sorry, I've just looked up something. Can you look in Discord for me?
I am looking in Discord right now.
Yeah.
And there he is.
The Love Shack? You looking at the Love Shack?
Hold on a second.
Right.
There we go. David!
Hey.
Hey.
Yes,
I was already in this Discord. You sent me like a new Discord that was called like the Love Room or something.
Yeah, the Love Shack.
Oh, I sent you the wrong one.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is no good, man. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Sorry guys. A lot of people are gonna get banned from here. I fucked up. David can chill in here. No, actually. I sent you the wrong one too. There. Alright, how's it going, David? How was your evening last night? I see you got into some shenanigans.
Yeah, it was funny. Like, I don't know, a couple days ago, I just got like a random tweet and it was like, they challenge you to a debate on abortion. Will you show up? I was like, okay, sure. Oh, it was. Oh my god, dude. The only thing that's probably gonna be funny to get clipped is I told Erin I would gut her like a fish if she continued talking about my wife.
Oh my god.
But does everyone remember that Jordan Peterson interview with like BBC or what? I forget what it was, but she just kept going like
with Kathy Bates or whatever her name is. Yeah, I never watched it because fuck Jordan Peterson. I don't need to.
Well, yeah. I mean, screw Jordan Peterson. But apparently, like, you know, in that she just keeps going like, so what you're saying is that is exactly what happened last. I would be like, they'd be like, well, you're murdering babies. And
yeah,
like,
that's where it came to. I heard her say, you're not pro-choice, you're pro-abortion. I mean, it's really easy to make an argument if you're going to focus the entire argument on that one point. Obviously, it's more than that, though. There's a reason people call it choice, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Oh, my God. It was just... and you're a father, so you're telling me that when your wife was pregnant and you felt the baby kick, that you're saying that that wasn't something that should be protected. I'm like, what? Like, I'm not saying that at all, Aaron. Calm down.
Yeah.
That bitch be crazy.
Yeah, I was there for a bit, and then I got way too high and couldn't engage anymore. But the only reason I was there is because of you. And then you were like, all right, guys, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go make a cup of tea. And then you left, and then they're like, oh, well, David's missing. So, Amy, would you like to come take his place? I'm like, I am not interested in this debate at all. I'm just here for David.
So here's what happened with that, is that they didn't send... So this all started off, and I said, hey, what time? And they said 10 o'clock, and this was like early in the day, like around noon yesterday. And so I responded like almost instantly, and I said, what time zone? So he comes back like 40 minutes before they go live and says, oh, that's our time zone, so in like 30-40 minutes for you. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't do that. I can do an hour and a half from now, though.
Yeah.
So they go early and start talking about like, where am I and stuff like that. And at this point, I don't even have a link, but Grant shows me the video that they're live.
Yeah.
So I go to the live video, and they're like talking shit about how I'm not there. And so I'm in the chat, and I say, send me a link. So they can't even send a link right. Like, you literally in the original video, you can hear them like going, oh, oops, we don't know how to do this. Like, we're messing up, technical difficulties. And then they ask if I have a Discord. I said, yeah, like I can come into your Discord.
Yeah.
So they send a link to that. I hop in, and I literally, like, the moment I hit the Discord, I said, hey, it's gonna be like 5 minutes. I'm making some tea. And like someone in there, like It's Joe or whatever, even goes like, okay. And then they sit there for 5 minutes in YouTube and go like, oh, this guy's such a bitch, he's not showing up. Like, why did that happen? And then it was like literally 30 seconds before I came in, they said, oh, he said he's making tea, how like gay or whatever.
Oh God, you know, the usual.
I must admit, I do have a little semi knowing that you make tea, David.
I told Jay the story.
Calm chamomile.
Yeah, so continue on.
Oh, and then, well, I mean, I engaged, and it was just kind of ridiculous out of the box. I think it's somewhat funny if you want to check that out.
Can I please ask why anybody still humors these people? Like, you're going to get the same answers, the same views on every single thing. They're very rigid. They're not willing to accept any new information about anything. They make up statistics. They lie. They think that everybody else is against them. They're crazy conspiratards. How is it that people, after all these years, still find entertainment in that? Like, the only reason I was there yesterday is because of you, but I can't watch them anymore. Like, even for the fun of it, making fun of them is like, I don't know what to think about people who are just going after such lowbrow people again and again. Doesn't that make you kind of lowbrow? Not you, but like generally.
I think that there's always a hope that you're planting a seed when it comes to discussions like this.
Yeah, is that okay?
Even as delusional as that may be. Secondarily, I think that there is sort of an entertainment aspect to it. The moment that they reached out and said, "Do this,"
if you come on, it is better. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying just those two alone, like just going to listen to those two alone. Like I said, even I showed up yesterday for you. I just can't understand how people keep watching them, right? If someone goes on, like if Dan goes on, if you go on, if someone goes on and like tries to talk to them, it is kind of funny, but I'm there for you. I'm not there for them.
So I will have to say the other part of this is that I sort of undiscovered her for a year. I thought that she had just disappeared. And then, man, I don't know if it was Grant or it was someone else, but it was maybe like a month ago. And they were like, hey, there's like the Reek stream or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't seen this in like a year and a half. So I like hopped on. And at that point it was just ridiculous. Yeah. And so I think, you know what it is? It's the Bash and Nash sort of style of entertainment. It is absolutely lowbrow. Yeah. But there is also this sort of, primeval, just sort of desire to war and desire to just eviscerate and kill and rip the entrails from your enemy and hold them over your head and then bite into them. It's something far, far deep below.
So Grant just said, it's like watching a person get separated from his limbs, disgusting as fuck, but can't look away. Okay.
See, for me, I just wanted to like spend some time actually to find out about their anti-Jew and.
Oh, they mentioned you yesterday, Jay.
They
are that faggot, the war kettle. Maybe he'll come on and talk about abortion. And I'm like, Jay just went to sleep. Good, it's perfect.
I do like that we're discussing like abortion and not like
I know.
the Jews did 9/11. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, the Jews did
definitely an
9/11. Jews did 9/11.
I've definitely heard that take or something.
I mean, I believe you. I believe you.
My thing is, and here's what I don't get when it comes to abortion, because it's just a huge, like, amount of misinformation that if you think about it, sort of disappears. But they're like, yeah, people at like 39 weeks are using it as birth control. And it's like,
what?
Okay, do you really think? No. I mean, like, honestly, do you really think that a mental woman is foregoing birth control, right? And then getting pregnant accidentally, apparently, and then carrying it for 39 weeks, and then subjecting herself to surgery, you know, and very unnecessary surgery if she could have waited, you know, in lieu of birth control. Does anybody think these people exist?
No, it's ridiculous. Now, let's take the biggest recent development, especially when it comes to American and the abortion conversation. I kind of wanted to do a video on it, but I just don't want to because I think it's such a dumb conversation. And that is what New York State have done. Now, from what I understand of reading of this law, is a woman who's pregnant, the day before her pregnancy, she can't just roll up and be like, oh, I want an abortion because, you know, fuck this, I'm tired of being pregnant and I don't want a kid, it was a bad idea. The only time she can have an abortion the day before labor is if the child is gonna have serious health and condition, and it's in danger of not making it to full term, or it puts the woman's life in jeopardy, from what I understand. Now, if I'm wrong, please correct.
Correct.
But...
No. So you are correct. Although there is a, and this was explained to me, but I am not as skeptical of it as obviously Aaron and Mike are, that mental health is terminology that is used. So if a doctor has sufficient belief to think that, you know, this baby could be underlied to some sort of stress or some sort of catalyst for some mental health disorder or mental health illness, that can be part of it as well, which doesn't seem like a conspiracy and more just seems like legislators sort of rounding the corner when it comes to, you know, what would qualify, because they're not just talking about things at 39 weeks, you know, they're talking about just abortion in general. But
didn't she say late term? Are these like, I never know what these guys are talking about, because they'll talk about abortion like just across the, like it's an across the board issue, but then they'll specify late term abortion, and when they give you examples, they're providing you stories about late term abortion, which I don't think most people are really for late term abortion. I don't even know how I feel about that, to be honest.
You have to understand that abortion past 21 weeks is literally about 1% of abortions. So we are talking about the complete underwhelming minority, even past 21 weeks. When we start to get to things like 39 weeks, you know, or something like that, you are probably talking about like 0.001% of abortions. And of which we don't have perfect data, but enough people have come out and spoken anecdotally about the fact that their, you know, quote unquote late term abortion is medically necessary. That the idea is that if the woman underwent labor or whatever, that there could be some disastrous consequences, and or it was going to be a stillbirth anyway.
Yeah. But with these, the main point, I think, from what I understood, was that you couldn't just roll up the day before your due date and be, I want an abortion because I don't want to have this baby.
Can you, sorry, say that again? I didn't hear that.
If you could find a doctor that was absolutely just Dr. Tiller reborn.
Yeah.
Yes, you honestly could. But here's the issue. That doctor is going to absolutely lose his medical license very, very quickly.
Yeah, of course.
So, I mean, yeah, if you could, because the issue between like the New York bill and the Virginia bill, and part of the code that they removed from the law is waiting periods, because that is such a stupid thing to have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So in effect, though, you still do have to have, like I said, a doctor say, okay, here, we bless off, this is the paperwork, it's all done. So, I mean, yeah, a lot of it does go down to the doctor, and like with the Virginia law, and here's the nuts part in the beginning. It used to have to be in Virginia that you had to have 3 doctors say okay. Like,
really?
Like a panel, yeah. And they reduced the amount of doctors down to 1.
Yeah.
And people started freaking out about that. They're like, oh my God, a woman only needs 1 doctor to be able to agree with her now. Like, that's a good thing.
I mean, why would you want so much fucking overhead on such a... Can someone just decide whether they want this or not? It's just such a waste of time and resources to have more than one person need to okay.
Well, my thing with them, like, and I think we can switch topics from this, but I tried to ask them very early on. I said, what would be your utopian sort of society? Like, what would it be? And they're like, well, no abortions. And I was like, okay, well, that's my thing too. And let me tell you how we get there is we straight up, like, this is a joke, but we put birth control in the water,
Mm-hmm.
Like, realistically, we just make it extremely available to everyone of all incomes with almost no work they have to do on their behalf. And they're like, well, that's not personal responsibility. And if they don't want to get pregnant, they should just shut their legs. And I'm like, well, that's not how humans work. Like, we know what works, birth control. We know it works like 99% of the time. And at that point, if we have everyone on that, abortions will diminish ridiculously. If we have to have in-depth conversations about the values and morals and ethics for some fucking reason, sitting on the outside of this relationship between a woman and her doctor about the 15 abortions a year that would happen if everyone was given birth control, then sure, we can do that. But I never understand the pro-life crowd or the anti-choice crowd, however you want to frame it.
Yeah.
It's like forced to birth. But a lot of the time, these same people are like the social Darwinists who want to absolutely reduce any sort of like federal aid, state aid.
Yeah, but they don't even understand human nature. Like, the fact that you respond to like, just close your legs then. Okay, so we have a little bit of a disconnect between you and how you think human nature operates, number one. That's why education and birth control are, as you said, the most effective method to reduce abortion to begin with.
Oh, well, and
like,
so
as just very salient examples.
Well, speaking in that exact thing, and I got like kind of hit back by Mike for saying that this has nothing to do with the topic, and I went,
but it does,
or whatever. Well, no, so they're talking about like, yeah, there's these ladies that are sleeping around before marriage and stuff, and I said, Mike, did you sleep with Aaron before you guys got married?
Yeah, no
like,
shit.
Well, I'm not gonna answer that because and then eventually didn't. He's like, well, yes, but I'm not talking about that. And I'm like, no, you are. When you're talking about girls, having sex before marriage.
Yeah.
You literally, are having sex before marriage. I think it's like such a hypocritical stance.
It totally is. That's what's so fucked up about these people is they're like prescribing behaviors and saying people should be like this, this, and this is what we need to get rid of, and this is what, but fail to reflect on any of their own behaviors and take that into account with any of their views. So they just want to behave however they fucking want, but everybody else should behave like this, this, and this, and that would improve society. Like, if you can't do it, don't fucking expect other people to do it. That's why nobody takes them seriously, because they're such bitches. Everybody else needs to behave like this, but we do all these things anyway. Like,
there was another funny number where like Mike said something like, all these leftists with their Planned Parenthood like cards in their wallets, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, I actually have a Planned Parenthood card in my wallet. And he's like, no, you're fucking lying. And I literally took a picture through the Discord, and they were just completely disgusted. It was great. He's like, I guess right wingers have their NRA cards, and all these faggot leftists have their Planned Parenthood cards. I'm like, I don't know. I just got it, and like you get discounts off stuff.
My goodness.
David, can you send me a picture of it so I can like print it up just so I can say I have one? Because I have someone I want to take that to and just pretend that I actually have that, just to really wind them up, because it would be funny.
See, I like this.
I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Top man.
So AJ in the chat said, if in doubt, you should always fire babies in the face. No problem then. Exactly, right? That's what's weird, is I think you said it yesterday too. You're just obsessed with birthing or something. You're not obsessed with life.
Well, I mean, it's like I just said, you know, a couple minutes ago. It is like full steam ahead, force women to have children for some fucking reason. I bet you there's a conspiracy about the Jews if you get deep down enough into why they feel that way.
Yeah.
And I actually know there is, sadly. But once kids come out, I mean, if you talked about to these people about the cost of like WIC, so like that's Women, Infant, and Children program, or Medicaid health programs, you know these people would be like, yeah, fucking cut that. Like if they were somehow in charge of appropriations, they would instantly get rid of these things. Yet, you know, they want the state to force women to have children.
Yeah, much healthier, right? That's so good.
Well, and the other part too is, so what I don't understand, especially when you talk about abortion and people talk about the huge number, you know, because it is true, like 600,000, 800,000 is a high number of abortions that we have every year.
Hang on, but, David, though. You said 800,000, yeah?
Yes.
Out of what, 300 million people live in your country?
That's true, yeah.
So, that's not really that high, in my opinion.
Well, my point is that if you all of a sudden just outlawed abortion and you got like 800,000 new kids every year, especially in homes that they aren't really necessarily wanted, you know, and if any administration that sort of forced this birth sort of stuff would likely scale back some of these programs, imagine how that would just crumble society insanely quickly, ridiculously quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, it would.
Abortion debates in 2019, eh?
Aye.
I feel like it's never gonna go away, and it's all because of this religion thing. It all ties back to that, doesn't it? The abortion thing, it all sits on whether you think it's a life that you're destroying or whatever it is. Like, it's not a blastocyst, because my book didn't tell me.
Well, I think, honestly, if you're gonna... And they seem to be completely allergic to this concept, but if you're gonna have a conversation on something, or you're gonna have a debate on something, you need to have mutual truths in so as far as you're talking about definitions. We couldn't even honestly come to the same terms on definitions. They want to call, you know, a 3-week-old, you know, blastocyst a baby. They want to call legal killing murder. You know, they want to call welfare theft. So
Can I just point out that just like the vegans, where vegans turn around and go, we're murdering cows. And it's like, no, we are slaughtering cows. There's a difference in, because words matter, and the words we use to describe things matter differently.
But that's what the game is. The game is actually, people are trying to make you see what it is. Either it's a life or it's not. Like, and I think it depends on where in the pregnancy it is too. And I don't understand there's also this stupid debate about when is the moment of conception. Is that when the soul enters the body? Like, there's all these stupid metaphysical discussions happening around this, and until that metaphysical aspect is entirely removed from the debate, this debate is going to continue. It's going to be a thing because people feel that it is a certain way, this or that. I'm like, y'all niggas are talking about souls. This is just a, like, cell that's going through mitosis. Why are we making a big deal out of this? It's not even a formed baby.
On another topic, so you guys were talking about it, but UK terrorists who return. So here's the issue with that.
She's not a terrorist.
She's
a wife, wasn't she?
Well, I'm gonna go to straight up terrorists within this,
Okay.
but legally, a person needs to be present if you are going to do the diligence of stripping them from their citizenship to a country. That needs to take place in an actual court, or at least some sort of military tribunal. People don't just give up their citizenships by engaging in like singular activity.
Right.
Well,
Which sounds messed up, and I'm not
government
trying to white knight terrorists, but we have the rule of law for a reason. You know, you don't just go. And the other, oh my God, like you guys remember Nightmare Fuel?
Yeah, I know Reese.
Okay, so he was doing this thing, and it was like the UK is just letting all these people back in, and then you do a search for like the parliamentary tribunals or whatever it is, and like the average guy who's coming back into this, you know, he's not getting his citizenship revoked, but he's getting like 10 years in prison.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, should be sort of I mean, I don't know. To be quite honest, you have to wonder if these people can be returned to society. I mean, like
once they leave?
There's so much of there's so much of a societal trust that's broken once someone...
No, they should not be able to enter easily. That's for damn sure.
Well, so you have like, I mean, I'm gonna use I don't want to use this term. I was gonna say like you have a right of return, but I mean you're still a citizenship of that, or citizen of that country.
Yeah, but I'm not saying revoke citizenship. I'm not on that train. Because it doesn't really make sense.
There's people that are.
I know, and I know that
are.
people feel that, like someone in the chat was saying earlier, like her citizenship should be revoked, or she decided that she was no longer a citizen when she fucking flew over there. You know what I mean? So I don't believe that, but that obviously isn't the case, not legally anyway. But
well, so one of the best things to do when you start thinking about legal precedent is starting to think of how it could be applied to other things.
That's what.
So imagine if that happened and we just sort of let it pass. We have now given government the precedent to, without trial and without the person present, remove their citizenship.
Yeah. And also,
so
like, if she wasn't born in Britain, then I would kind of be not so carey. But the fact is, she was born in Britain.
Yeah,
so as
exactly.
Far as I'm concerned, she's a British-born citizen and should not be able to have her citizenship revoked at all.
Yeah, I mean, what you can't really... Weren't you telling me that it's, like, part of, like, international law that you can't... Like, people need to be citizens of a country, right?
Yeah, no government can make anyone a stateless citizen.
Okay.
I mean, the funny thing is when Theresa May was Home Secretary of Britain before she became Prime Minister, she was asked by the BBC, would you make returning jihadi... Now, these are the terrorists, the men. She was asked if she would make them stateless and revoke their citizenship, and she said no. And she quoted that it was against the law to make people stateless, but she did say that those who hold dual citizen or have, or have immigrated to Britain, then yes, and of course anyone that returns would face a trial. And I feel like the current Home Secretary is just throwing that out the window.
Chrissy goes, yeah, fuck her, it's a privilege to live here. Send her to Abu Ghraib.
Fucking hell, that was a dark-ass prison during the Iraq War. Ooh,
dude, it was just like college, man. Naked pyramids, you're telling me you didn't do that in college? Being on leashes, I do that like every weekend. Okay.
David.
And that you heard, ladies and gentlemen, from a serving personnel of the United States Army.
David, what would happen if somebody from America was in the same situation?
Well, we have the same situation.
Yeah, we do.
On at the moment.
I'm sorry, what was that?
We've had to deal with this.
Okay, but I want to know how you've dealt with it, because I don't know. I'm ignorant, so I'm asking.
So we give them military tribunals for the most part.
Which consists of what?
Matters.
What happens?
Lawyers, judges, jurors. It's pretty much just a closed-off hearing, but is led by the military. So the judge will actually be like, usually a staff judge advocate, or not a staff judge, or not. was it SGA? But it's going to be a pretty high-ranking guy, but the guy will have access to a lawyer, and you know, there's matters of leniency that come into play, and then you know, like if he's going to testify against other people, it comes into place. I mean, it's handled the right way.
Okay.
Of course, the judicial way, the way. See, this is what annoys me about all these people. So, when we hear people say, "Oh, that person's Islamophobic," right? There is a bit of me that kind of goes, "All right, what is it they're talking about?" And some of the stuff, like some people who, you know, beat the drum of Islam is evil and whatnot, but then turn around and do things that are against, you know, what people who actually, who are serious about the problem with Islam, who go, no, we need the law upheld, and we don't have, you know, one rule for one and another for another.
Mm-hmm.
That's where, like, those sorts of people who turn around and go, oh no, just fucking leave them there and let them rot, I kind of feel are doing a disservice to our judicial system, because I feel that the only true way of setting precedent is through a courtroom trial.
Well, yeah, of course.
Well, I think the idea is, you know, the same person going, let's not be like those barbarians, is all of a sudden going, hey, let's become barbarians to treat
exactly.
them.
Yeah, that's basically what I mean.
Yeah, I mean,
where the label of Islamophobia towards them, because they do things like that. And we're meant to be better than these people, not fucking, because that's the other thing that I hear so much is it's like, oh, eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, and I'm like, yeah, and it leaves the world fucking blind and toothless.
Yeah. No, they definitely have to deal with this in a professional manner, if that terminology makes sense.
I love how like some cultural supremacist or whatever, you know, would be like, yeah, and now this is where I entertain Hammurabi's law. I think the only way to win long term is to show why our societies are so much better.
Oh, way better.
That's the only way.
You're not allowed to say that, though. That's racist.
Oh, I don't care.
That's very racist.
I mean, well, I don't think it's racist, but
I know it's not.
But I think that you are going to have to endure some things, and you know what? I think that for some things there may be new legal challenges. I mean, here in America, we are now at the forefront of discovering all kinds of new legal challenges because of the Trump administration. Trump administration,
Internet. There's like a million factors that are showing to us that we're going to need to put some new rules and laws in place because things are changing rapidly.
Yeah. Well, the interesting part is that when you start to take things apart, there's so many overlaps and coverage losses between what the law does uphold and really what it should at this point. Because yeah, we never thought the internet would sort of be around. You know what I mean?
No.
And I think when it comes to politics, you know, there's always some aspects of societal norms that would be kept in place. You know, like we'd never have to deal with this type of, oh shit, the person's elected. So, I mean, we're just changing as a society, evolving, and I think evolving in the legal way, especially in relation to, you know, sort of hardline Muslim countries and the terrorism that falls through some of these failed states, we can't bend down to that level.
No.
Move past it.
This is why we can't use relativism in any kind of arguments. You know what I mean? Like people use that as an argument to leave them alone. Well, they're not as advanced, right? But Sam Harris makes the point that everybody needs to be at a point at some point where they can function on the world stage as the world becomes more integrated through just things we're doing together as we evolve as societies. We have to have these people be good, rational actors, and I don't know, I think some form of something is necessary. Not stooping down to their level in some way does kind of require that some things are enforced, doesn't it? Is that just me?
Well, speaking of prisons, Jay, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
So, worldwide, when do you feel that the U.S. lost the Iraq War? Because I can point to a very specific point.
I don't know.
Hang on. When the US lost the Iraq War, I would say that the failures of the Iraq War and that are when we went in not providing enough equipment and resources that they needed, but also the biggest failure I think is when we tried to do nation building right afterwards.
So
Like the Iraqi government was a disaster, wasn't it?
So I will say that I mean, I went to Iraq twice, one in 2006, 2007, one in 2009, 2010. So I somewhat remember very well sort of the background and politics and the general zeitgeist sort of feeling in America and then some other places in the world. I can tell you that the revelations of Abu Ghraib was absolutely a key, critical, huge turning point in not only public opinion in the U.S., but international opinion.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, actually, yeah. Abu Ghraib was one of the big things all over the press here.
So the moment that we sort of stooped down and went to the level of the barbarian, that is when we effectively lost at least the opinion war. You know what I mean? We lost control of the narrative.
Yeah, I'd agree.
We lost control of the narrative, and that's when you lose control of it all. It's all about the narrative. It's an unfortunate aspect of our lives. The narrative rules, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, it matters when you're trying to craft. I mean, at the end of the day, when you craft large policy, you know, or when you have large scale intervention like that, you are crafting a narrative, because what you do is you really do need everyone to sort of hop on the same boat.
Exactly. You do need people to hop on the same boat.
And that sounds like conspiratorial, but I guess it somewhat is. You know, like when you go into Iraq, you need Iraqis, especially like the new parliament and stuff like that, to be sympathetic to American interests, to think that Americans are doing the best for them there, so that you can have sort of peaceful change. And, you know, and then the establishment of a new, you know, sovereign government. And then at the same point, you also need the locals not to think ill and join like insurgencies and stuff like that. And when you lose that like America good sort of image, all of a sudden the, you know, new governmental parliament members don't trust America. People aren't winning on the votes of America's good anymore. You have guys that are winning on, you know, fuck America. And then all of a sudden, yeah, you're going to have a drastic change of people joining insurgency groups. So the narrative is important.
Yeah,
whether
it
it's
is.
a true one or it's a bullshit one.
Yeah. It reminds me of a part in The Crown. It's on Netflix. And the Queen's mother has a letter to the Queen. And in it, she talks about how the Crown must always win.
I remember that.
Yeah. The Crown must always win. The Crown cannot be made to look bad, cannot be in the wrong. The Crown must always win. Regardless. Even when it's wrong, it still must win. And it's kind of similar to that, where, you know, if we don't control the narrative and it looks bad on us, then we're fucked. Especially when it comes to Iraq.
There's a question for you. How about the U.S. citizens that join the Israeli army? I don't remember what the context was at the time that we were talking, so...
So in Britain, I remember, I can't remember who it was, it might have been Corbyn or MacDonald. Well, I'm taking it as rumour because I haven't seen video evidence of them actually saying it, but it could be real. But anyway, they're saying that they will take away citizenship of any British citizen that's joined the IDF.
Okay. Really?
Which is done. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is technically we don't have any laws that say you can't go off and fight for another nation or anything.
Okay. Except for that one.
No.
Did you just say if they join the Israeli army? Can you say that again to me? Sorry, I'm really high now.
That's what they want to do.
Okay, that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
But then wouldn't they have to... They should definitely make that an across-the-board thing and include ISIS in that. If you're gonna include if you're gonna make it a law with the IDF.
Well, so the only thing that I'm searching when I get that is a person named Baroness Worsley, who was the former senior minister of state for foreign and Commonwealth affairs.
Mm-hmm.
But she, what it pretty much says is that British citizens who volunteer for the Israeli army should be prosecuted like others who fight for foreign forces. So I mean, absolutely, ISIS is included in that. The comparison is
foreign forces. Okay.
The IDF to ISIS. Like ISIS is almost the precedent here.
Okay. Dude, I don't know.
Someone in the chat says Baroness Worski. Oh man, it's actually a female. So I guess Andy's kind of a female too. So.
Ew. God, that guy. That guy's a bit much for me. Can't stand it. I wonder what's gonna happen if someone in Canada does this. I don't know. I've never heard any stories, but I also.
His name is Jihadi John. He's
Jihadi John's Canadian. Oh no, I'm talking about Canadian, not British.
Well, he's entitled to Canadian citizenship, or he has it. I can't remember.
Really?
I remember I remember something because Britain revoked his citizenship, and he's trying to get Canadian citizenship.
I hear that guy's really smart too.
I hate to tell you this, but according to the State Department records, you guys up in Canada are definitely like a little ISIS recruiting.
I know. You know what? Like, because Trudeau's like, hey, just fly them in. We'll put them in hotels. We'll do this for them. We'll do that for them. We have some refugees near us here.
I do love when those State Departments came out, and it was like there were people that had to go, you know, because it's all in the context of the wall in America, you know. So they're like, so how many terrorists did you come across the Mexican border? Well, there's 4,000 people, and it's like, okay, were those terrorists? Or, well, no, they're not really terrorists, but they're from countries that, you know, we don't like Guatemala and stuff like that have, you know, there's turbulence. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, how many actual terrorists have crossed? And you're like, oh, well, none. Okay, well, how does that compare to something like Canada? Like, how many terrorists have you caught coming from Canada in the last year? And it's like, I like 14. It's like, oh shit. So I mean, you're building the wall on the wrong border.
I know.
A lot of people in the States are talking about building a northern wall. I've seen it on the interwebs, guys.
Well, what it is like after they build the southern border, they'll be like, okay, now it's time to go up to the north.
Can you believe this declaring a state of emergency for this wall shit? Like, this is real.
Well, he's already gotten an injunction against him. There's 17 states that have lined up behind a lawsuit. So, I mean, that's not going anywhere. A lot of people made fun of the president for his like little song and dance about like, you know, and then I'm gonna get injuncted, and then it's going to go to the Ninth Circuit, and they're going to say I can't do it. And then it's going to go to the Federal Appeals Court, and they're going to say I can't do it. And it's going to the Supreme Court, and then we're going to win. Like, that's actually pretty much the right way to think about it. The issue is that he's given all the courts up until he gets to the Supreme Court, which, you know, it's sort of handpicked two people for there. He's given the direct evidence. He said, like, you know, well, it's not really a national emergency. I didn't need to do this, but I wanted to do it faster. You know, like...
Yeah, the government was shut down for a while, and did you see the state of... I need to talk to you about the State of the Union. I need to hear what you thought about it. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it.
So, I didn't know that they were such cheer fests. I was actually quite surprised at how rah-rah it was, and then I think Dan told me that the State of the Unions are always like that. They're very... It's like it's like going to a football game is what it looked like. And I was like, I can't believe this is government.
No, it's Americans trying to be British because they see us in Parliament once a week giving it large to the fucking Prime Minister, and they think, yeah, we can do that, and then they fail. That's how I see it.
I thought you were actually talking about like the substance of it, because there wasn't really much.
I was talking about the substance as well. Let's talk about that too.
So the issue with President Trump is that there is such a low standard.
Yeah.
That whenever he like hits anywhere near the goal, I mean, people are holding up A+++++++ pluses for, you know, years.
Yeah.
Like, because there's so little to really sort of emote about, you know. So when he does do things positively or even remotely positively, you know, like that is the ammo. That is, they've been stuck on the Delaware, you know, on fucking Breed Hill, and they had nothing, and now they finally have this ammo supply, and oh my god, we're gonna make this happen, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
It's like, sadly enough, you know, like we talk about the racism of low expectations.
The bigotry of low expectations.
No one ever treated Obama like this.
No.
Like, nobody would, like, which was a good thing. If you remember this, like back in the first like year of his presidency, he was teleprompter Obama because he couldn't do a speech.
Is that really?
Yeah. So if you go back and look at his like first year in office, the man couldn't give a speech. He sucked.
Okay.
Could not do it. And then he sort of grew into this awesome sort of speech giver and statesman. But
okay.
Yeah, no. But nobody, like, there was never a point in this development of his over his presidential career where he like finally like managed to not totally suck, and they were like, oh my god, I can't believe he's so amazing, it's the best leader in the world. Like, he was kind of criticized until like way past the expectation was met, and then it was just, you know, it's one of those things that right-winger TV just sort of has to give to him because it's such an evident truth.
Okay. Yeah. I was just under the impression that he was always just very good. He was very well presented.
No, the eloquence was definitely, like, it was not really there in the first couple years.
I think the illusion was there for me because he looked so held together.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't really... Yeah, Billy said it's because he's black. Oh, that's rude. Look how well spoken. When they're affluent, you call them African American. Apparently, this makes a difference in conversation when you refer to them as black or African American. When you say black, it primes the thought of like the ghetto type, and when you say African American, it stokes the thought of affluent and intelligent, successful black men. Isn't that interesting?
I mean, I don't know how true that is.
I mean, I've seen it somewhere, but
the only thing is that I mean, like, I've run into people in the military that think that being called African American is bullshit because they're not African, they're American.
Exactly.
So they're like, I'm not African American, I'm a black American. Okay. You know, so
yeah,
it really it's
we don't have no
it's
African British. That would be ridiculous.
So I really just think, I mean, number one, if you try even remotely, I don't think anyone gives a shit. Number two, let them wait for you to tell them what they want to be called for whatever. I don't know. Yeah, okay, so that's what is in the UK. Like, I don't understand the African American thing. Like, you don't have white people going around going like, I'm European American. Or like Mexicans going like, I'm Mexican American. Well, there's some of that, but it's not like, at the same level.
I'm Irish American.
Yeah, they don't say that shit either.
Not just in TV.
Just in TV.
You see it every now and then in TV.
Yeah, I'm gonna start referring to myself as Euro Trash American.
Euro Trash American. That doesn't sound very nice. But is that what you'd be classified as? Euro Trash?
Well, I mean,
that's what you think of yourself as? Euro Trash? Oh my god! Sorry, go ahead. I'll start.
I was gonna say my mother was Russian, and then my father was Australian.
Russian and Australian. Interesting mix. So get this. I got a text from my friend last night, and he Googled, what was it, JAYMEE? European history, right?
Oh, you want to talk about that?
European people history, and like a bunch of pictures of just African European people showed up. Like, it's all black. It's all black.
Before we get into this,
yeah.
David, you don't mind me clipping this bit of the stream to turn into a video later, do you?
No, I don't mind.
All right, cool. Well, I'll put the awesome A-Team intro in as well. A-Team. So yeah, go on, Amy.
So we Googled, so my friend had Googled European people history, and the results that he got were all black people. It was all like old paintings of black people, and like it was way more black than you would think it should be. Chris said to me this morning, he's like, I'm pretty sure there's more black people in this on the results page than there are black people in Europe. And I was like, okay, I should go check this out. Maybe it's just him. And then I go look. Wait, it's really not a thing. Yeah, I know it's an artifact of the way Google's algorithm works. It's just crazy to see it, right? Like, you don't expect to see... That's not what you expect to see when you Google European people history. So that's all I'm calling attention to. I don't think it's surprising, because if people are... I think, Jay, it makes sense that, like, if you're going to tag certain images with certain things, the algorithm is going to find what is tagged on those images and provide you with the results. It's just like...
Now, my example of it being an algorithm is the second image, if you go to Google Images of, you know, European history, is a tweet from Mark Collette with a screenshot of said issue on Google Images.
Oh.
And I'm like, yeah, this is a prime example of it just being an algorithm thing, not, you know, conspiracy.
There's probably a difference then, because when I type in European history on Google, the first thing I get is a picture of Master of European History. The next thing I get is the Wikipedia history of Europe.
Oh, sorry, you have to type to Google European people history.
Okay, and is that a Mark Collette thing you said?
The second image on the top row is
Yes.
a tweet from Mark Collette. And if you know Mark Collette, he is he's definitely a far-right YouTuber who...
People history.
You know, does all his...
Show his girlfriend, Jay.
Oh, you mean the one with the swastika tattoo?
That's more than just a swastika tattoo. It's a fucking like 2 foot by 2 foot swastika.
It's like a what's that word? Mosaic? Is that the right word?
Mosaic.
No,
Where are you
it's
looking right now?
ridiculously big.
Oh, you have to Google the image of Mark Collette's girlfriend. I'll find it.
Here, I'll find it and I'll shoot it to you, Amy.
Cool, just throw it in the Discord.
So yeah, I think it's clearly an algorithm, and people on Twitter are outraged that it's some conspiracy to promote the Great Replacement, which, in my opinion, is a conspiracy theory. Yeah, there's nothing to it, really, whatsoever.
Okay.
Maybe if people, you know, tagged images correctly and whatnot.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. It's an annoying problem, though, isn't it? Because I certainly did not expect to see that.
But yeah,
I wasn't on some conspiratorial shit, like, oh my god, like, look what Google's doing. Google's trying to decolonize my mind with all these black photos. Remember how we talked about controlling the narrative earlier?
Yeah.
By the way, she's like a fucking gazelle.
Who is? His wife?
She's tall.
Look in the Discord.
Yeah, it's in the general yap.
I mean, Mark Collette is like 5'4".
Oh my god, are you serious? That's for real? I thought that was a joke picture. Oh my goodness.
Word on the internet, it's real.
Wow.
She's also done porn, by the way. It gets even
Oh,
better.
and she's got a big ass swastika on her tit. That is very classy.
I want to see this neo-Nazi porn, actually. Kind of aroused a little bit, if I'm honest.
Oh my god, Jamie Turner. Why are you so inappropriate?
I'm a freak.
Do you think you're an edgelord? Edgelord kettle, huh?
Maybe it's literally kind of weird, because if you just search European history, it's like all white people.
Yeah.
If you search European people history,
it's all black.
Maybe
people.
because, well, maybe it's probably likely because you don't ever use the word people unless you're talking about indigenous peoples.
Oh, okay. But I mean, still, the fact that European is in there, you'd think that. I don't know. It's an algorithm thing.
They're probably talking about like European taking over a lot of these like areas.
Okay.
Quite possible. And so then they're showing the areas. I don't know.
Who knows? I don't understand. But I think this whole algorithm thing, it's really cool and stuff. It's nice that they're finding ways to bring data to you or present you data, but obviously there's also a lot of problems with them, and there's gonna be like a bajillion things to fix, because these algorithms sometimes, like the way they fuck up in big ways.
I honestly think that Google needs to do some algorithms that make funny, like racist results just to troll people. And they can do this both ways. They can do this, like, what they should do is like whenever you Google like black nationalism, black people achieved, it just shows up with like a bunch of white people achievements. And then, you know, like
that would be fantastic.
Like, and then whenever like someone searches like white master race, it just takes them to like a bunch of like blacked.com photos.
Oh my god.
I think
but
that's
see,
I mean that's what I would do if I worked
They would need to
within
have a sense
Google.
of humor for that, because I think a lot of these companies are getting a little SJW with the people they're hiring, right? Because they think they need to diversify their staff, and by diversify they mean they need to have a gay, they need to have a black, they need to have a woman of color who's like fucking 4 different nationalities under her belt. Like, this is what diversity is becoming now.
I'm trying to diversify my marriage. I'm trying to get an Alicia Keys. What is that girl, Sadiq Khan? You know, a Kate Beckinsale. I'm trying to get sort of one.
Kate
Beckinsale
is so hot. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, she's like 50, and I don't care.
She does not. Yeah. I'm with you actually. I'll get in line.
Well, you're like what, Indian, Torontoian?
Toronto. I'm from Vancouver.
Oh, Vancouver Indian. So I mean, you can join the
Vancouver Indian. Well. You have to specify exactly. I was just gonna say you need to specify by dot or feather, and that's the only way to do it. Because Indian here, you're not allowed to call them Indian anymore. By the way, you have to call them Aboriginal people.
Well, what if they're actually Indian? Then you can call
but when
them.
you say Aboriginal,
but Indian refers to both.
From Australia.
I know you do, but in Canada the Abos are different. But I think it refers to the same, like, they were here before us type thing.
They're IPs, they're indigenous peoples.
Yeah, there it is, indigenous peoples. No, that's an American thing. We call them Aboriginals here.
We don't call them anything, honestly.
Oh, they prefer native? Oh, by the way, I was just gonna tell you guys that that Trans Mountain Pipeline that has been stalled since August 30th because of all these native protests, that's been given the go-ahead as of yesterday, so. How exciting.
Yeah, in America, we did really bad, and I think the goal of dealing with like Native Americans in the USA was just the hope that they would all die out, and then when they didn't, we just sort of ignored them and gave them casinos.
All right.
Like,
and a little bit of reserves and casinos. And over here, they get a free education too.
Doesn't everyone get a free education?
No. Are you serious? No.
Well,
it's fucking expensive to go to school here.
Well, I mean, I'm always told how like
leftist Canada is, and they're sneaking into our borders.
I mean,
the Marxes of Canada. Oh.
I mean, we have fucking. Don't listen to people about that shit, okay? We have healthcare, sure, but college and post-secondary education is certainly not free. The universities here are very expensive to attend, and if you're an international student, it's even more expensive for you to attend. So.
Well, those guys have the money, though.
Yeah, I know. Because
A
it's
lot
all
of the
the
time.
Chinese and it's all the rich Indian parents who send their kids here to go to school. But it's mostly
I was
Asian.
thinking like Saudis and stuff.
No,
too.
no. It's Chinese. Lots of Asian. Chinese, Japanese, and Indian. Indian parents want to send their kids here for school. And with the Chinese, it's a real estate thing too. So the parents will like funnel money to their kids in Vancouver. Dude, these kids drive like Lamborghinis and all these crazy cars, and they go to university. Their parents live all the way over in China, and they're just sending money over so that they can retain this $1 million condo in Vancouver.
So, speaking of which, Jay, when are you're gonna be in America soon, right?
Kinda. About to push it back to September, but yeah.
Aw, okay.
Yeah. Things have kind of changed a lot. I'll tell you about it later, mate.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna say thank you so much, Amy and Jay, for letting me on and talking
Hell
about
yeah.
the reek situation.
Yeah. We
But-
wanted to be some therapy for you. A little outlet.
It is my niece's birthday today.
Good. Go
She's
enjoy
mixed
yourself.
recently.
Ah,
And,
virtue!
Well, I mean, I didn't have to mix.
Wow,
It
you
was
put up with
my
her
sister.
being mixed and all? That's
Oh,
amazing.
Yeah, I'm even gonna buy her a present.
You're
today.
so charitable.
I know.
David is such a good guy, isn't he, Jay?
Yeah,
That's why we
no,
hang
that's so
around
bad.
him with his mixed nieces and his views on abortion.
He's like totally helping the white genocide, which I'm all for.
The white genocide.
White genocide, make it happen.
Yeah, make it happen.
No, so real quick before I leave, because this also blows me away. There are people that think that races mix, which race is even a wrong word for it, but that people fucking of different skins, colors, and backgrounds and genetic variances and stuff like that will somehow all make us into one muddy lump, like one singular thing. That's not how genetic variance works. So the more people fuck, the more diversity you actually
Yes,
make.
exactly.
Either
But
way.
people don't understand because they're very simple creatures and they don't put in the effort to learn. So
Yeah, they think it's like paint or something.
yeah.
Like, but either way, thank you so much for having me on. I
Yeah.
love you all.
Love
Bye-bye.
you too, David. Bye. I always love it when people say my bye. I know, I love him too. He's fantastic. David's a
We
cool
should
guy,
come
man.
back.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Cool, smart guy. So what were we on about? I can't remember. Is Chris gonna join us? I don't even know. But I'll check with him. Hey Chris, since you can hear me, are you gonna join us? Because I'd like to talk to you about measles in Vancouver. Where is he?
No,
There he
I'm
is.
not coming.
Why not?
I haven't found my headphones yet.
Oh no, what happened? Don't you have several pairs laying around? Right now you're not echoing, by the way. You're fantastic.
No, I'm not, but as soon as we start talking about anything substantial, I'm going to start echoing. You know I am.
Yeah, I know.
And now
So,
Chris is here, I'm going to start echoing.
well, we all know whose fault that's going to be.
What did I do?
No, I'm talking,
No, not you.
about Jay, not you.
It's always about me on the Waking Up Thoughtcast. I'm your
There we
host,
go.
Amy Kay.
You're on headphones now.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris. So, what I wanted to talk about today is something that's another duh thing. I feel like this is a recurring theme in my life where the most obvious shit needs to be discussed all the time. I really do not understand how this works, but let's talk about it. So, there has been... Oh, wow. See, this is the problem with OBS, is I expect things to work and then they suddenly stop working. Now the video has died because I've made the article visible. How are you not supposed to have technical issues?
How do you do that? Do you use it as like a VLC object? Is that how you're running the video?
No, I added in as a video capture device.
No. The video that you had running behind, is that a VLC object?
Oh yeah, that's a VLC video source
Got it.
playlist.
Yeah. But when you do this, it stops it, does it?
So what I did is I've had the article prepared, sitting in OBS, but I just had that eye icon clicked off so that you couldn't see it, so I could just click it and it was ready when I was ready. But as soon as I clicked it to be visible, the video has now gotten
Yeah, I
ruined.
think the best way you can do what you want to do is use scene and transition to another scene, but we'll sort that out another time.
Okay. I just don't understand why it wouldn't work though. It shouldn't stop working like that. You know what I mean?
OBS is a very, very finicky little bitch.
Yeah. So what would be more appropriate to use in its place? Would Streamlabs be better? Is it more reliable?
No, Streamlabs is OBS.
No, I know that, but is it more reliable or no? It's the same shit.
No. OBS is the right thing to use. You've just got to use. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean,
it just doesn't work how you're expecting it to work, but it does do what you want it to do.
but I mean, I just don't understand why the video suddenly stops working. It's a very frustrating problem. But anyways.
We'll sort out when we're not live streaming.
Yeah. Fuck, I didn't want to talk about these problems, but I did now. So, let me just pop this out. One moment, everybody. My apologies. There has been a measles outbreak in Vancouver. Isn't that fantastic? So guess what we're going to talk about now? We're going to talk about vaccines and the importance of vaccines.
Excellent. A virus from the 1940s. Fantastic.
Isn't that fantastic? So Vancouver Coastal Health responds to critics of measles vaccinations. A petition calling for mandatory measles vaccinations for children attending public schools in BC continues to gain momentum, but a number of parents believe the vaccination may do more harm than good. So, what I find very fucking stupid is that parents think that they are better doctors than doctors are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that. A number of parents believe, there we go, right there, that word, there's the problem. People need to stop believing things. You either know something or you don't know something. If you don't know something, then you defer to the expert on that thing. Belief has no right to be in this decision whatsoever, because it isn't about belief.
No, it's not, but I don't understand why anybody gives a fuck as soon as the word believe is used. I don't understand why anybody would ever accept that as an argument. It's just the internet that has facilitated this echo chamber bullshit. All these parents get in these groups, right? On Facebook and shit, these anti-vaxxer groups. And what are they doing? It's just a confirmation bias party. They're all posting articles and all this stupid shit that people made up, and they're all reinforcing this idea that doctors don't even know how vaccinations work and blah, blah, blah. And they do not know how to properly assess the risks of any of these things. And then the doctors are now running into this problem where people are not vaccinating their kids. Kids are picking up measles at fucking school. Listen, when you are putting your child in a situation where there is a public setting, where there are other children who are susceptible to diseases, where you can easily transfer these diseases that have a higher death rate than the fucking use of a vaccine, you're morally obligated to vaccinate your child or keep them the fuck out of the public space.
And you just hit on it there, to be honest, because whether or not, I mean, I think I had this discussion with you earlier. I think it's pretty obvious to most people that these vaccines don't do anything. They're not harmful in any way. But let's just say that they are a little bit. You're quite right. Even if they are a little bit, they're still a hell of a lot better than risking your child getting the disease they've been vaccinated from. Like, it's not even close. It's not even remotely close. You're better off with them risking, in finger quotes, the vaccine, and my opinion is there is no risk, but that's regardless, than getting the disease. There's just no doubt about that. Measles fucking kills people.
I am gonna go a little bit further and say that I think that vaccinations should be enforced. I think they should be mandatory. And I think they're, like, Okay, so
Well, yeah, it's for the good of the public health.
that's the thing, right? Is if you want to homeschool your fucking child, fine. You can decide not to vaccinate. But if you want to use the public school system, if you want to go out into the world with your kid, if you want to go anywhere where there is more than you and your family, you should need to vaccinate. And it's so amazing that this is even a debate to me at this point. Why are we arguing about children who are literally the most fucking biggest buckets of disease ever are not supposed to be vaccinated? Fucking get vaccinated.
Hang on. Children and Indians, let's be honest.
Whatever.
Sorry, any Indians listening. I don't mean
Wait, are
that.
you talking dot or feather?
I'm talking dot.
Oh, fucking rude. There's only me. I'm the only dot here. Holy
I've
shit.
got a question for you, actually. I was
What?
thinking while I was listening to your conversation. Right.
Yeah.
Why is it that other people, and you as well, you do this to yourself, why do people disregard the fact that you're only half Indian?
I don't know. Because, I mean...
Because you do. I mean, I assume it has something to do because you're when you lived with your parents, they did actually bring you up the Indian way, didn't they?
Yeah, you know what it is? Yes, because my mother actually... My stepfather or my father wouldn't have been okay with, like, the Hinduism being the dominant religion or culture. So when she moved into the family, of course, she moved into the family, so everything became Indians. More the Indian side took precedence over the Hindu or Fijian side. And
So, yeah,
also,
I
I
was gonna say-
think people are more familiar with Indian people than they are with Fijian people. So because they can identify with that in some way, that's where the emphasis is for me. And I mean, I call myself Curry Monster and all this stuff too, which is more associated with Indians, you know what I mean?
But yeah, just so everybody watching is aware, Amy's actually half Fijian and half Indian, so she's Canadian as well, and of course, Jay, who colonized both India and Fiji.
You know, I'm actually...
Exactly.
I'm okay with that.
Amy's like triple colonized because fucking India, Fiji, Canada. What?
I know, all my people were slaves too. What does that tell you?
Really?
Yeah, the Fijians were made slaves by the British, and so were the Indians.
Were the Indians all slaves, Jay?
Not
Is that how that
all.
works?
Not all.
Not.
I didn't think we enslaved the Indians. I thought we just sort of ruled them with an iron fist. to
I
be
mean,
honest.
isn't that kind of the same
Actually,
thing-ish?
when it came to India,
Not really.
We rolled up in India and we were like, oh yeah, you were in charge before we got here. You're still in charge, but we're the top dog. Yeah? Cool. Here's some money. We want this many people for troops. We want this many for digging ditches or whatever.
Yeah,
Let's
because
back
with regards to slaves, we never bought and sold Indians, as
No.
far as I'm aware. So
Yeah.
they were never really slaves. They were conquered, sure, but they weren't slaves.
Okay. I'll
And I
take
think
it.
the same goes for Fiji as well, and Canada.
My mom always used to tell me when I was younger about how the Fijians were kept as slaves. Maybe it's just lying propaganda. She wanted me to...
I don't know about Fiji, but I'm pretty confident that India, by and large, were not slaves.
Yeah, man. Okay, that's fine with me. Clickety click,
I'm
click,
looking at
click.
it. I'm Googling that shit right
Yes,
now.
Googling. I love how we went from a conversation about measles and vaccines to whether Fijians
Sorry,
were slaves.
I completely derailed that.
No,
It
no,
was
no.
just
No
that-
need to apologize. I'm just observing.
It was nagging at me because it's like everybody goes on about Amy being Indian, and even
Yeah.
Amy goes on about Amy being Indian.
Yeah, I
but
do.
She's only half Indian, really.
Yeah. But you know what though? Because I grew up mainly in the Indian culture, that's also
yeah, makes sense.
that'll take over. It is generally more about culture, isn't it?
But I mean, in terms of your, I mean, you do look Indian, but you don't look fully Indian.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even look.
You can tell there's something else in there.
But here's the thing, my Fijian features aren't really Fijian either, because like you said yesterday, my mother is
Yeah.
very light skinned. She's not dark. She's the lightest and only one who's that light. So I always used to say to her, "Are you sure you're not a milkman, baby mom? Because even your sister is dark. Everybody is dark."
But your friend who is fully Fijian
Gina.
is also quite light skinned.
She is,
so,
yeah.
I'm guessing in Fiji it's just the sort of stereotype.
No, you know what that tells you? You know what that tells you? That tells you that some white men raped some Fijian bitches.
Oh, yeah.
Straight up. Because there's some... I have a cousin. Okay, get this. On my stepdad's side.
It might have been consensual, JAYMEE. You do not know.
Actually, maybe that's why I love white men so much. There's got to be a few of those crazy bitches who are like, oh my god, I need a white man in my life. Who are these beautiful white creatures who are stepping onto our island right now? But, oh shit, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I have cousins.
We didn't enslave the Fijians.
Wow, my mom has lied to me my whole life. But I need to tell you something.
Sorry, Karen.
So I have cousins, a cousin on both my Fijian side and my Indian side for my stepdad's side, who are very light, but they have Indian features, but they have blue eyes, bright blue eyes. Remember that girl they had on the cover of the National Geographic?
I was just gonna say about that. Yeah.
Yeah, very striking. It's a very striking thing to see someone with
Is it the case? And I'm asking because I don't know that blue eyes are a European thing.
Of course they are.
Right, but green eyes are not, are they? The green eyes are an Asian thing.
Are they an Asian thing?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, Asia, like Far East, kind of. I believe sort of Chinese. I want to say Chinese.
Really? Yeah, Aishwarya Rai was Miss Universe a number of years ago. She's South Asian, is what they call her. South Asian. These South Asian women are so drop dead beautiful. Some of these Indian Hindi actresses, oh my goodness. You've never seen a person look like this. Have you seen some of these Russian girls too? You're like, how is your face so symmetrical? You are like a perfect creation of nature. Everything about you is perfect.
You've got to admit that there is a distinct possibility that a lot of that perfection is down to the art of contouring that you've introduced.
No, I'm not talking about makeup. I'm talking about like just. Have you never? There's like Reddit subreddits.
I know what you're talking about, but what I'm saying is that you're talking about isn't. I don't think it's necessarily the case.
But I'm talking about how, like, these girls who are not wearing makeup, like, just who are Russian and, like, from that part of the planet.
I would like to see scientific verification of that isn't Reddit.
Oh, you can just tell that. Oh, it could be Photoshop, though. Fuck, man! I hate the world so much!
No, but the thing is, you might be right. You absolutely might be right, but I don't think so. I mean, don't get me wrong, right where I live, we have lots of like Russians and Polish and Bulgarians and yes, some of the women are absolutely fucking gorgeous. But
yeah.
If you were to sit and stare at their faces, you'd A, probably get arrested, and B, you would probably notice defects.
Yeah.
They're not. Nobody's perfect.
I mean, I don't know, Chris. There's got to be some of those outliers.
Apart from you, Amy, obviously.
Oh, please. We all know my fucking problems.
Yes, you're very front heavy.
I know. I'm back heavy too. But anyways, can we get back to talking about this measles problem that I'm actually really quite pissed off about?
I'm sorry, I got.
No, it's okay. No, please.
I got by your boobs.
Anytime, okay? Anytime we can have tangents. You know, we just do what we do here. And while Health Minister Adrian Dix isn't pushing legislation to make vaccinations mandatory, I really feel like the health people should. I feel like people who are in the field of medicine should really be backing these ideas and really should be pushing and encouraging for legislation for these things, because you can't run a country where you can just have people make decisions where many people can die in an area.
What's worrying to me is that politicians aren't doing this.
Yeah, of course.
You are right. The medical people should push for it, but really, they're not the people that run the country. They're not the people who need to be saying these things. The people who need to be saying things are the fucking politicians, and they're not.
Yeah, it's actually really scary to me that we were talking yesterday about how these younger kids now, against their parents' wishes, are going and seeing the doctor because they want to be vaccinated, because they've known people at their schools to get sick and just not show up to school anymore. And they're fucking terrified. And who wouldn't be? Can you imagine getting measles in high school, which has a higher death rate, much, much, much higher death rate than that of using a vaccination to prevent the goddamn disease to begin with? You fucking idiots.
Yeah, and just to clarify, vaccinations kill nobody.
Yeah.
Like 0. Does not happen ever. Well, I don't want to say ever.
Yeah,
Maybe
don't say ever. That's too
maybe
conclusive.
The needle gets stuck in someone's eye or something, but they don't kill anybody. It's such a dumb thing. It's like people believing that the Earth is flat. It's that level of stupid, and that level of dumb sort of blind belief as well. And I think it does. It's got something to do with the fact that religion, which is the way people were stupid and wanted to, had to have something to believe that's just stupid. That's been sort of diminished in our civilization. So people have got to find something else stupid to believe. I'm pretty sure it's as simple as that. That's just my own private theory, though.
Get this. I just want to know what makes people say stuff like this. The problem is the pharma business is very shady, and vaccines sometimes cause health problems and kill. That is why they are often recalled. I want to know, when has there been any instance where somebody has died from getting a vaccine? And if they did, it's probably something in them that was a problem to begin with.
It doesn't happen, Amy. That's
I've never seen it either. I've never heard a story. I've never heard anything. I've never seen a citation.
The only thing that people can latch onto is that things like I'm sure you've heard vaccines cause autism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like completely disregarding the fact that some people are going to turn out to be autistic anyway.
Yeah.
Whether they're vaccinated or not. But
nope, you are misinformed. Well, I'm not going to bother arguing with you because that's not an argument. It's not an argument, in the words of Vegan Gains. I'm just,
I'm fully vaccinated and I haven't.
I've never gotten measles. I've never gotten hepatitis. I've never gotten chickenpox. Oh, I got chickenpox when I was really young, but after that, after I got the vaccine, I never got them.
Yeah, but you can only get chickenpox once.
One time, yeah.
So if you got the vaccine after that, that was a bit redundant, but what?
I don't know if I did. I was very young. I was just assumed that I did. Maybe I didn't need it.
No, you won't have had a vaccine.
Maybe it wasn't that. I know that I've definitely had the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine.
Yeah, the MMR jab.
Yep.
That's what it was called here.
The jab. And Hep A, Hep B were mandatory in elementary school.
Well, yeah,
everybody needed to get it.
You've been to India, so you probably need them.
Yeah, but I didn't go to India. But when I got them before I went to India,
I'm joking. I'm throwing shit at India again.
Yeah. Oh, it's fucking gross. I would never go there. I would never fucking go there without getting vaccinated. I wouldn't go to any country without making sure I did research.
Vibrantly Brantley in the chat said there's a couple of cases of vaccines causing problems, but they're all allergic reactions, which sure, when it comes down to the vaccine itself, obviously it has the active ingredient that makes it do its magic, but it's usually suspended in some kind of
liquid
sugar solution or whatever that liquid is. Yes, you can have an adverse reaction to that, but as I understand it, that's not an adverse reaction to the vaccine part of it. That's an adverse reaction to the sort of what's it called? What it's suspended in. The oh fuck. Come on, Amy. English.
Solution?
Thank you. Well done. The solution.
You just used that word.
I know, but it disappeared out my brain.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. All right, so I'm gonna finish reading this just for a bit.
And it is very, very raw.
So, Vancouver Coastal Health reports that there have been 8 confirmed cases of measles at École Secondaire Jules Verne, and oh my god, why are these French names? However, there have been 9 confirmed cases in total. What's more, the infection is highly contagious. The airborne viral infection spreads by coughing and sneezing, and even 1 case of measles is considered an outbreak. With this in mind, a number of parents are concerned that children may have adverse reactions to the vaccine. Whilst...
We don't care about them dying from the disease, but the vaccine.
See, that is such an obvious blind spot to me. Like, it is so obvious that the risks associated with the disease are much worse than the risks associated with vaccines.
I don't understand how that isn't obvious.
Yeah, I don't either. And I just feel like that these people think that they are any form of authority at all to make that call is amazing to me. Because these people, how can you not consider the fact that doctors and anybody in the medical field who has worked on these things or knows of these things is fucking studied and has been in school and learned about mechanisms and all these things that are involved to come to the conclusions they have, and then these parents are like, oh my god, we're scared that the vaccine might cause autism.
Yeah, but they're the parents and they live in this world where they believe that they know best.
I know.
Their child.
And look at this now. You're creating a situation where your children have to break your trust and go behind your fucking back and go get a vaccine? That is so retarded. And then what's going to happen if the parent finds out that their kid went to the and got vaccinated? What if that causes some kind of conflict between the parent and the child? Look at the position the parent is putting the kid in. This is very bad parenting. It is so fucking awful that parents are like this. Hi, Delane! Thanks for the super chat. Dollar bills, y'all.
Yeah, that's the point. Super chat Amy, everybody. What you doing,
I already have Jay.
I know.
You didn't mean me, did you?
Chris did already, though. I saw that.
When you was talking about that fucking jihadi girl, I said, off with her head.
Yeah. So funny. Ooh, a wrenchy wrench.
For the vaccinations.
Yeah. While some worry that their children may get sick, others fear that they may cause irreparable damage or worse, death. Yeah, worse than measles, right? Vancouver is Awesome spoke to Tiffany Aikens, communications leader of Vancouver Coastal Health, who explained the risks associated with the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine. While the vaccine may cause some side effects, they are rare, she said. And of those rare side effects, the most common are a sore arm and a fever. Boo hoo! On the other hand, measles, right? On the other hand, measles causes a number of potentially much more serious complications. And
shit.
Yeah, no kidding. And may even lead to death. Also, measles is highly contagious. It lives in a room that an infected person has been in for up to 2 hours. Atkins notes that... Wait, is it Aikens or Atkins? You assholes. Atkins notes that it is possible to have more extreme reactions to the vaccine, but that the complications associated with measles are far worse. Dr. Althea Hayden, Medical Health Officer, Vancouver Coastal Health, underscored this sentiment, noting that the chances of having an allergic reaction are rare. There's no reason for the general public to be concerned about this. It's extraordinarily rare to have an allergic reaction from a vaccine, she remarks. Your body would have to have seen the component once before to have an allergic reaction. There are vaccine specialists and allergists who can help someone determine what the right decision is for them, i.e. to vaccinate. Every vaccine provider is ready should a reaction occur. Look at that. Dr. Hayden adds that a healthcare provider will always ask patients about previous reactions and medical history in order to discern whether it is safe. Further, she notes that it is important to stay in the clinic for 15 minutes after getting any vaccine. There is an extremely rare chance, less than 1 in a million, of a life-threatening allergic reaction called anaphylaxis. This may include hives, difficulty breathing, or swelling of the throat, tongue, or lips, which can happen if you accidentally eat something you didn't suddenly know you were allergic to. Like, this happened to me once. I was having pomegranate seeds and drinking a Miller Genuine Draft Light, a beer, right? I've drank the beer before. I've had the pomegranate seeds before. I was having them at the same time. I suddenly got this reaction after I took a sip of beer and ate a couple of pomegranate seeds where I started going into anaphylaxis. I suddenly started breaking out and getting hives. My tongue and my throat started swelling. My lungs felt like they were getting solid, like turning into solid. And I was quickly being unable to breathe. Luckily, the hospital was very close, and I took a cab, and they injected me with, what's that shit called? Adrenaline.
Huh?
Whatever it's...
Yeah, you might be right.
It makes my adrenaline rush is what it is. So you might be right.
Adrenaline
I don't
would do that.
Yes,
Yeah.
Exactly. EpiPen. I have an EpiPen with that shit.
No,
in it.
that's epinephrine. That's
Epinephrine. That's the stuff they gave me. And then they just kept me on an IV of Benadryl because I had reacted so quickly and so poorly to that, and I didn't know that I was allergic. And that can just happen if you fucking eat something. Never mind vaccines. Like, parents are freaked out about vaccines.
Yep.
It's really strange.
It's crazy, but the thing is, if they go to the doctors and they get their kids vaccinated and they have a severe allergic reaction of the type you just described, the thing you've got to remember is they're already at a doctor. You know, these places are kind of equipped for that sort of thing.
But I mean, like I just read, they said every person who administers a vaccine is ready for somebody to have an allergic reaction.
That's what I mean. It's crazy. It's just so dumb. It's on so many levels. It's retarded, and to me anyway, all you're demonstrating if you don't allow your kids to be vaccinated is that you shouldn't be allowed to have kids.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
You're one of them that shouldn't be allowed to breed. Shouldn't be trusted with children.
Yeah.
I'm not advocating that people have their kids taken away from them.
No.
What I'm saying is these are people that shouldn't have been allowed to have kids in the first place.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate to me, though, that you're willing to put your child's life at risk. And never mind that, you're willing to put other people's child's lives at risk. And like, you love your kid, you think you're doing the best for them. What about those other parents that are trying to do the best for their kids too? You're willing to kill them? It's such a selfish, self-serving. I have nothing good to say about this. Wow, dollar bills, y'all. Thanks, Casey. I appreciate it. I don't know. I find it frustrating. I hate it. And then, like, even if I did want to have kids, why the fuck would I want to? I could send it to school and one of the parents may not have vaccinated their kids and then my kid's gonna die of measles? I know I'm being very sensationalist right now, but... So, let's read this. With this in mind, there are a number of more serious reactions that may occur from the vaccine. These include seizures caused by fever, about 1 child in 3,000. A temporary drop in the blood cells that help prevent bleeding, about 1 person in 30,000. And encephalitis, an inflammation of the brain, about 1 person in 1 million. Nevertheless,
that's the really dangerous one, isn't it?
Yes.
Encephalitis,
yeah, but 1 person in 1 million. Nevertheless, the possibility of getting encephalitis from measles is about 1 in 1,000!
Didn't know that. That's amazing.
In other words, your risk of developing this potentially life-threatening complication are 1,000 times higher than they are from taking the vaccine. Like, this is fucking mental. Like, that number is substantially greater to get encephalitis.
If these parents were, and I'm not saying I agree with this, but if these parents were advocating, no, I'm not giving kids these vaccines because there is a chance that they could have an adverse reaction, they should also say, so therefore I'm never ever letting my kids out of the house, ever, for any reason. That's the only thing that can justify not vaccinating a child, in my opinion.
The thing is, though, with vaccines, right, is you getting your children vaccinated is more than just you getting your child vaccinated, and it's because we work on a herd, a group sort of vaccination. So what I mean is you have a room full of 30 school children. There could be a child in that classroom who couldn't have vaccinations because they have a condition or an illness or
Yeah,
something.
you're talking about herd immunity, and
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
that's the point, really.
Mhm.
You're vaccinating people so that those that genuinely, for whatever reason, cannot have the vaccination are safe as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there's no, if you do have your kids vaccinated, there are absolutely zero risk of contracting some like killer form of measles because people haven't been vaccinated. But that isn't the point.
Yeah. It's awful. Can you believe that? Can you believe those numbers? The risk of getting encephalitis with a vaccine is 1 person in 1 million. The risk of getting encephalitis, which is swelling of the brain, like if that happens once, it can fuck you up.
Oh yeah.
Like really bad.
Somebody in the chat said they haven't heard the actual response to the if you get the vaccine then you should worry about the non-vaccinated argument. You haven't had a response to that because that's not an argument, because that isn't a problem. If you have been vaccinated, then you shouldn't worry about the non-vaccinated. That isn't why we're concerned about people not getting vaccinated. We're concerned because people are dying because they're not getting vaccinated.
Exactly.
And not necessarily dying, but definitely suffering a lot.
Hey, imagine this. Imagine. Let's just imagine that somebody, for some reason, somehow contracted polio. Okay? Like, the reason polio doesn't exist anymore, which killed a shit ton of people, by the way. Like, a fucking metric shit ton of people. The reason that doesn't exist anymore is because a vaccine was created as an antidote to get rid of it. Now, imagine if for some fucking reason somebody got that and we were not immunized from that and didn't have a solution for that. Can you imagine how much of a fucking insane ruckus that would cause? People would be getting pretty pissed off if they caught polio. So people are dying and suffering with their own consent. So what? You don't understand that they can pass the diseases to other people. Oh my god, I can't believe I need to not even entertain such a fucking dumb question. Like, I'm sorry.
Polio does still exist out in the wild. No, I mean, people in some places do still get it. That's right, isn't it? But
I'm not sure.
I know, like, where we, like, in Europe and America, and the continent, not the place, it just doesn't exist anymore. Even in Mexico, as far as I understand, it's been wiped out, I believe. Which is a testament to fucking vaccination working, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. It's really sad. Like, it's not just about the person consenting to dying because they don't want a vaccine. It's about the fact that they can be a carrier for something that someone who may not know if they're vaccinated or not could possibly pick it up if they come into contact with them. And that risk is not worth it. It is not up to you to decide if somebody else dies. It's not about kids. It's not about kids. It's about everybody out in the world. If you are going to be in a public place and a carrier of something that is no longer a problem, then you are going to make a problem.
So polio is only an issue if you go to Afghanistan, Pakistan, Democratic Republic of Congo, Nigeria, Papua New Guinea, or Somalia. Everywhere else, it's gone. Yeah. That's amazing. That is astonishing. Even India's got rid of it. Wow.
I think that's gross that it's in those places. I never would have expected that it was actually in a place like that. I mean, now that you said it, it's not super surprising or anything. But
Afghanistan and Pakistan really don't surprise me at all, to be honest. Those places are pretty gross.
I didn't give up my guns because of Sandy Hook false flag with the emotional. I didn't say anything about children, but I think that's kind of where these diseases have the highest chance of spreading, where people can take them home. This is such a narrow form of thinking that you can't understand why it would be such a problem for people to not vaccinate. Like, you're obviously not read. You don't understand how these things work.
Don't understand the issues. It's not the same as, I mean...
It's not about children. It's not just about children. We're talking about it specifically because kids in Vancouver at school got this shit.
Yeah,
I shouldn't
kids are a
freak
good-
out. This guy entered at a point where he obviously didn't know what where the conversation started, so that's okay. I'm not gonna get too upset. I don't think he was here before when we started this.
Yeah, it was. Scroll back.
Oh, well then, wow, that's just unfortunate. That's just a failure on your part to think of the situation, larger picture. So, I'm not gonna bother anymore.
And very, very interesting that you bring it back to I can give up my gun because it's like, well, oh, no one gives a fuck about your guns.
Yeah, we're not talking about guns.
For a completely different conversation.
So parents think that they are more of an authority about whether people should get vaccines. I find that super, super frustrating. You know what else is weird? The ads I've been seeing in buses for like, do you feel like you were harassed? Call this number. And it's like the stupidest shit. It's like some girl holding her cell phone.
So are you saying that, is this a problem in Vancouver then?
Yeah, this happened. There's 9 confirmed cases in Vancouver. There's 9 confirmed cases.
That's pretty sad.
That's bad because it actually says that even 1 case is considered an outbreak because it's such a highly contagious disease. It's such a problem. You have to contain it right away. And I mean, it says that if the virus is left, like if you cough in a room, that virus's ability to stay alive clocks in at 2 hours. So if someone walks into that room who's not protected, doesn't imagine not knowing that you've never gotten the measles vaccine, maybe you thought you did, whatever, you walk into that room, you contract it, now you have measles. Thankfully there is a vaccine available for it, but it's just not worth the risk of getting it at all, I don't think.
Well, yeah, but and it's also worth pointing out a vaccine doesn't help you after you've already got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Once you've got it, you're pretty much
measles.
You're on there for the ride, basically.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. Of course, that's the point of the vaccine, is to immunize you from it. But if you fucking
so you don't get it in the first place.
Sorry, I'm a little bit high.
So everyone, just remember to vaccinate your kids, yo.
Exactly. Just be vaccinated and vaccinated.
The thing is, there's no disadvantage. None. I just don't understand. To go back to the giving up guns argument, I actually understand. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think you should give up your guns, but I don't give a fuck because I understand why you want to keep them. There's a rationale at work there that I can at least understand. Whereas the not vaccinating your kids thing, there's no rationale that makes any sense whatsoever.
I'm of the mind that vaccinations should be mandatory. They should absolutely be enforced. If you're going to send your children to school, definitely mandatory. If you're going to be in a place of work where there's more than you, mandatory.
If you're going to use any public services, mandatory.
Mandatory.
No, I agree with you too. Now, someone in the chat just said that if people want to die, let them.
No, he didn't get it. No, don't acknowledge it, because this guy said that before, and he's failing to understand the argument that we put forth and why it's important for people to be vaccinated.
I think he's just trolling.
Yeah, or he's stupid. Either way, it doesn't look good. Trying to have an actual discussion, but it's fine. Other people are cool having the dumbness in their chat, but I'm gonna address it. This is just dumb. You're just being dumb.
Alex correct. He knows the score. Wash your ass and vaccinate your kids.
Exactly. So check this out now. Doctors report uptick in teens, young adults choosing to vaccinate against parents' wishes. This is here in British Columbia. I don't think it's too late ever to get your measles immunization up to date, public health official says, and now I'm thinking that I want to go because I'm feeling paranoid. Vancouver doctors are seeing an uptick in the number of unvaccinated teens and young adults seeking to be inoculated against measles in the wake of an outbreak of the disease at 2 schools in the city. Dr. Eric Kadeski, a family physician and president of Doctors of BC, said he's seen a number of young patients recently who made appointments to get the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine over concerns about the outbreak. Some of them said their parents were against vaccination because of unreliable sources of information that they received, Kadeski said. Others had been hesitant to be inoculated because of pressure from peer groups. Kadesky said every physician in his practice has noted a jump in young people asking to get immunized, and he's heard similar stories from a number of other doctors elsewhere in the province and beyond. I've heard of people throughout Canada and even doctors around the world saying that millennials are using these outbreaks as an opportunity to revisit the decision that their parents had made for them. And many are making a different decision, which is to protect themselves, and also in many cases that means protecting the people around them, because not everyone can receive the vaccine. Moral obligation, here it is. Among the patients Kadesky inoculated is Maddie Bissett, who had no vaccinations as a child because her mother believed young children shouldn't be pumped full of chemicals. I hate that. That's the GMO argument too. Oh my god, you're pumping our food full of chemicals. Oh my goodness. People do not understand. It's just really stupid. She preferred more natural alternatives, including homeopathy and essential oils. Oh yeah, that's gonna protect your kid from fucking measles, right? The 23-year-old said in an email interview Wednesday, "Everything my mother did was with our best interest in mind. I just believe she put too much faith into false articles she found online and did not consider what heavy repercussions not vaccinating your child has on both their health, the public's health, and the possible life-threatening situations it puts at-risk people in. With the frightening resurgence of measles in Vancouver, it wasn't a choice anymore. It was a moral obligation to public safety. And I think in this concern, you are always morally obligated to do what is best for everybody. Again, if you want to participate in public places, you need to play by the rules of society that have made society work so far. And that is immunize your children. Immunize yourself. Make sure you are too. You should care about the things that you can pass on to other people, because I'm pretty sure as much as you don't give a fuck about dying, other people do care about whether they're alive or not. They have their lives to live, and you shouldn't be you should not have any power in that way over someone else's life. If you're gonna fucking buy groceries and fucking be around people, it's disgusting. If you think
it might be a very minor way, but it is in a small way contributing to the betterment of humanity.
Exactly.
So,
and it's not a small thing.
And so yeah, you should be forced to do it. Fuck yourself.
Yeah. Measles, which is spread through airborne droplets after an infected person coughs or sneezes, can also be a killer. The World Health Organization says there were 110,000 deaths from measles globally in 2017. Yo, that's way too much for that recent. Most of the children under age 5. Yeah, fuck them, right? Fuck them. Yeah, they should be able to choose whether they live or not. Fuck these 5-year-olds.
And what that isn't taken into account, that's just deaths.
Yeah.
But that isn't including the people that got serious side effects from measles that last their entire fucking life.
Exactly.
Which can include, obviously, brain damage, blindness, I believe. That's a measles one, isn't it? There's all sorts of really nasty side effects from measles that would make you not be included in 110,000 deaths. You'd still be alive. The measles didn't kill you, but it didn't really help your life very much, did it?
Yeah. While measles was declared officially eliminated in Canada in 1998, cases imported by travelers can cause sporadic outbreaks like the one now occurring in Vancouver, seeding the disease within the community and putting those without immunity at risk.
I think you got rid of measles, and now it's back.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, who have we been pulling into the country? Well, just think about that.
In fairness, it could be from anywhere.
I'm absolutely sure it can be from anywhere, but I mean, we are also increasing our risk by the people that we're letting in.
But just the United States isn't measles.
No, not the United States. That's not what I'm talking about.
That's quite a serious factor for anything like that. I would
Yeah.
think. But if everybody was immunized in Canada, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Some people, infants with certain underlying health conditions and those undergoing chemotherapy, cannot be vaccinated and must rely on herd immunity to prevent infection. Others at risk are those who choose not to be immunized, often based on a long-discredited 1998 UK study that suggested the MMR vaccine was linked to autism in children.
Long discredited. Did you hear that in the chat?
Long discredited.
There we go.
Kadeski said young patients like Bissett are often exposed to ideas and beliefs among their peers that differ from those of their parents, causing them to look for validated information, and they're correctly including that vaccination is safe and effective. Bissett agreed, saying her friends are all vaccinated and are pro-immunization. I think youth have adapted along with the internet and have a better sense of which sources are reliable, and with so much information there now, can compare information easily, she said. Dr. Teresa Tam, Canada's Chief Public Health Officer, said the MMR shot is not only safe, but it's one of the most effective vaccines doctors have for preventing disease. If someone is questioning whether to get vaccinated or not, it's a really good idea now to go in and talk to your healthcare provider if you have questions and get them answered and get yourself vaccinated, Tam said. I don't think it's too late, ever, to get your measles immunization up to date. That's especially advisable for anyone planning to travel during the upcoming March break to countries where the disease is poorly controlled, she said. Measles remains a common affliction in many areas of the world, including in parts of Europe, Asia, the Pacific, and Africa. The U.S. is also experiencing travel-related outbreaks, with 127 cases of measles confirmed in 10 states between January 1st and February 14th, with Washington and New York states particularly hard hit by the disease, says a report by the Centers for Disease Control. Yikes.
That answers my question, then.
Yikes. That's real bad news, and I'm really sad to hear that, to be honest. I'm quite sad to hear that. That's very good. Biology, yo. Yes, having antibiotic resistance is not a good thing either. Because people use antibiotics when they shouldn't be. I mean, whoever this is just not really worth engaging in. But that's basically all I wanted to complain and bitch about. I think I really need to eat something quickly. How's everybody doing?
I'm doing good.
Chris, we're gonna need to have a conversation about that dog training thing that I've talked about before, because I really want to get into that with you. So maybe we'll do that next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jay, you still there?
Training.
I sure am.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thanks, everybody.
Oh, what's this?
What?
Oh, what's occurring? I'm waiting for Chris to pick up on this, but I don't think he gets the reference. I don't think he's ever watched, oh, fuck, what was that?
What the hell is Jay
Gavin and
talking about?
Stacey. Have you never watched Gavin and Stacey, did?
No.
Because I keep saying, oh, what's occurring? Which is this, what this Welsh bird says in Gavin and Stacey.
Is that a British show? Am I missing something?
I guess it must be. I mean, it's got a Welsh bird in it, I'd assume.
Yeah, it's proper Welsh, proper British show.
Yeah, Welsh, basically from where Jay lives.
Jay lives in Wales and Rogie lives in the desert. Have we all got it clear? There's the Discord link if you want to join anybody and everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I think I'm going to go eat and chill out for a while. I hope you guys have a great day. And cheers, mate. Bye.
Bye.